And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for part 1 of Matchday 3 of the UEFA Under-21s European Championship, where for some of the teams in the tournament is sadly already over. As you can see on your screen right now, for Czechia, Poland, Romania, and sadly the host Slovakia, their tournament is already over. 2 defeats from 2 for all 4 of those countries means their tournament has come to an end. But for everyone else, there is still a chance to make it into the knockout stages. For some of them, they are already there, and for most of them, they will be competing for the opportunity to get into top spot in the group. As for today, though, we're going to be covering the 4 matches taking place tomorrow, and then, of course, tomorrow morning's video will be covering all the matches taking place on Wednesday. So once again, you will have all of my previews and predictions ready before a single ball is kicked. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of my prediction series. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the predictions we do on this channel, including, of course, all the games taking place in the Club World Cup as well. If you want to be even more awesome, you can click the join button at the bottom of your screen to become a member of the channel. And, of course, you can always leave your comments down below in the comment section regarding your teams if your teams are taking part in this competition. And, of course, let me know your thoughts on every game down there below as well. Without any further ado, here is the state of play going into Matchday 3 in Groups A and C. We have Romania, Slovakia, Spain and Italy. We have France, Poland, Georgia and Portugal. And as you can see at the top of your screen, we are 9 out of 16 in terms of correct results so far in this Under-21s Championship, with 1 correct score, that correct score being the Spain's 2-1 victory over Romania on Matchday 2. 5 out of 8 for Matchday 2 overall. Not too many complaints from me regarding the ones that I got wrong. I was warning around all of those fixtures, so I will take it. I think 5 out of 8 is pretty good. It's been a tough championship to call so far, and I don't think it's going to get much easier going into Matchday 3. But without any further ado, let's get into it. We start off with Group A, with the 2 sides that sadly are already eliminated from this competition, which is Romania and the host Slovakia. And coming into it, it's a real bit of a lull for both teams, to be honest with you. For Slovakia, they made the age-old mistake of going 1-0 down to an Italian side early on. And if your history tells you anything, you don't go 1-0 down to an Italian side early on, because they will just spend the rest of the game defending their lead and inevitably ended up with a 1-0 result. And that is exactly what they've done in both matches so far. Obviously, we'll get to Italy shortly. But for Slovakia, despite how well they've played in both games, losing very, very late on to Spain on Matchday 1, and then essentially losing very, very early in Matchday 2, it is the end of the road for them. For Romania, they've realistically only got themselves to blame for this one. Again, really good performance against Italy, but unable to break them down. Against Spain, they went ahead due to an absolute worldie. They then could have gone ahead, even further ahead on multiple occasions throughout the rest of that game. But then the game turned in the 82nd minute when Blunata, I can't say his name properly, picked up a straight red card for a very, very lazy challenge. There is no doubt about it, it's a red card. His studs are high, he catches the man, but it's a challenge that he just did not need to make. That was a straight red card. 2 minutes later, it was 1-1. 2 minutes later, it was 2-1 to Spain. And it's game over, and Romania are eliminated from the competition, which is a serious, serious problem for them, because I don't think they deserve that. Like I say, I think they played really well against Italy. I think they played really well against Spain, and they deserve to get something from the Spain game. But unfortunately, one moment of laziness or head loss, whatever you want to call it, has not only cost that guy his place in the remainder of the competition, but it's cost his entire country their place in the remainder of this competition. Coming into this match, obviously, Blanuta is now suspended for the final game due to his red card, but not only that, centre-back Agdad went off injured prior to the 2 Spain goals as well. So how much did that play in Spain getting back in front in that match? For Slovakia, and to be honest, for Romania as well, the problem that you have with fixtures like this, I always hate doing predictions for fixtures like this, is that these sides are playing for nothing. They are playing to finish 3rd place in the group, but it's not like there's significant prize money on the line. It is just a case of this is a game between 2 sides that have already been eliminated. So it wouldn't surprise me to see both sides change their entire team. Yes, the Slovakians will want to get a result in front of their home fans because they are the host nation, but I actually think that Romania have been the better team over the 2 games I've seen in this group so far. So I'm going to go for a Romania win. I'm going to go for 2-1, but yeah, this is a near impossible prediction. Fixtures regarding two teams that are already eliminated are already impossible to call. So I'm just going for the side that's played the better football, in my opinion, which is Romania. These sides did meet 3 years ago and it finished 4-3. So who knows? We could have an entertaining one. But yeah, I'm going for 2-1 to Romania. The other game in the group has an awful lot on the line because these two sides, Spain and Italy, both come into this match on 6 points. So obviously it's a winner-takes-all situation and the prize is to finish top of the group, which in theory provides you an easier route into the knockout stages. So how do we think this one is going to go? Well, what I didn't mention in the Romania section of the opening prediction is that Spain did have a penalty early on in that game against Romania, which Mateo Joseph missed, which would have made it 1-1 in the first half. Really poor penalty. He put it wide. But other than that, I was not that convinced by Spain. Like I say, Romania should have won that match. There's no doubt in my mind Romania should have won that match. And if we're being honest, Slovakia were very unlucky not to beat Spain as well. So 2 matches in for Spain, I have not been overly convinced by their performances so far. Italy, on the other hand, it was just rinse and repeat from the first game. 1-0 up, sit back, soak up the pressure, and put in a man-of-the-match display from Desplanches in goal. He looks like a fantastic goalkeeper. In a country that's already got Donnarumma, here comes another young goalkeeper who looks in absolute phenomenal form. And going into this game against Spain, you've got to fancy Italy to just set out their stall once again. That said, don't get me wrong, phenomenal finish from Casadei in the game against Slovakia. Nice to see him doing well after being yet another one of those players that were essentially wasted by Chelsea after they signed him a few years ago. To be honest, I think we can all sort of tell you what the blueprint for this game is going to be. Spain are going to be the dominant side. They're going to be the side that are going to be trying to create the most chances. Italy are going to be sitting back and looking for those moments to counter-attack. But from what I've seen from these opening 2 games so far, that's going to suit Italy down to the ground. In terms of the team news, no injury concerns, no suspension concerns for either side. There could be some rotation, I would think, particularly in the Spain squad, because substitutes did make an impact for Spain against Romania. Will Mateo Joseph start after a poor performance, missing the penalty, and then even getting booked whilst being on the substitutes bench? We shall see. But for me, this is a game that I think Italy are more than likely going to win. I think they're going to absorb the Spain pressure and then use their clinical counter-attacking football to end up getting the result. They've won the first 2 games 1-0. Stands to reason they can win this one 1-0 as well. I'm going for 1-0 to Italy. Do I see Spain getting something? Potentially, but I think the Italian defence is going to end up being too good for them. So for me, this is 1-0 to Italy. Then we move on to Group C. And words cannot describe the amount of drama that went on in the France-Georgia game. Certainly in those final 10 minutes of the match. Or should I say, final 20 minutes of the match. Because the game went to 90 plus 12, let me tell you. Georgia, oh my God, they were so close. They were so close. They managed to hold on until the 89th minute before France made it 2-2. And that was just the start of the drama. Because then there was a goal disallowed on VAR. Then there were 6 minutes added to the already 6 minutes added time before Barry then popped up with a 102nd minute winner to make France win that game 3-2. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Other game, I mean, there was not too much to say about the other game. Portugal were just way too good for Poland. They absolutely battered them and poor old Poland got smashed. But yeah, France are going to be considering themselves very, very lucky to be in the position that they're in. Basically meaning they're level on points with Portugal, both sides on 4. Poland are already out, so in theory this is a really easy game for France, and the significant competition that they've had, being Georgia and Portugal, are playing each other, so France know that all they have to do is beat an already eliminated Poland, and they're going to progress after being terrible against Portugal and essentially not being great against Georgia. Let's not get it twisted. France should definitely have beaten Georgia. They created an awful lot of chances in that game, but again were very, very wasteful. But to take it that close, I do think they're a little bit lucky to be in the position that they're in. Like I say, for Poland, there isn't really too much to say. They've already been eliminated. They've been poor in both matches. Yes, you can argue they were unlucky against Georgia, but no luck to do with the Portugal win. They were just absolutely outclassed. Again, with teams that are already eliminated, there is always the chance that they could change their entire team just to give the other players in the squad some more tournament experience. For France, no injuries or suspension concerns coming into it. Potential for potentially like someone like Barry to come into the starting lineup after making the impact that he did off the bench against Georgia. For me, this is an obvious France win. Maybe Poland can grab themselves something, but that something for me would only be a goal. I can't see them getting a result. I'm going for 4-0 to France. I just don't think Poland are going to offer too much resistance. The other game in the group is obviously where it gets really interesting. Georgia on 3 points. Portugal on 4 points. Obviously France as well on 4 points. And unfortunately the Georgians know that they've now got to beat Portugal in this final game, which seems really harsh for them because they were outstanding against Poland and well deserving of their result. And they were outstanding against France and they've just heartbreakingly come up short. And now they're coming up against the Portugal side, which have just blown Poland away. And as we've just mentioned, it took Georgia till the 94th minute to beat Poland. So as good as Georgia have been, coming up against who have arguably been the best side in this group, I just struggle to see how Georgia get the result. The one thing you would say, they do not give up. They are relentless. They do not stop trying. They kept going. They kept going against France. And like I say, they almost had enough. Furthermore, it is actually worth noting that these two sides did meet in Euros under 21s 2023, i.e. the tournament played 2 years ago. And Georgia did beat Portugal 2-0 in a result that ended up with both sides progressing to the knockout stages. So who knows? It could happen again. But I look at this Portugal team. I look at the pace. You look at some of the goals they scored against Poland. The pace of the Portugal attack is absolutely frightening. And yet another one of Chelsea's young acquisitions, Quenda, doing the main bulk of the damage in the game against Poland. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Yet again, no fresh injury or suspension concerns for either side coming into this. Do Georgia have a chance? Of course they do. They've been well worth every single minute of this competition so far. But unfortunately, to the Georgian fans, I just think this Portugal team are too good. And for me, the Georgian dream ends here. I'm going for a 3-1 victory to Portugal. And that is going to be it for today's video. As always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who is going to be progressing to the knockout stages of this Under-21s Championship? Who is going to be, more importantly, topping those groups? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll be back tomorrow morning covering all the final matches in Groups B and D. I'll see you there.